the eternal mystery of the Great Pyramid. For over 4,500 years, the Great Pyramid of Giza has stood against time, silent, unbroken, and eternal. It rises from the sands of Egypt, its ancient stones glowing under the desert sun, as if still guarding secrets older than history itself. It is more than a monument. It is a message carved in stone, one that speaks of human genius, vision, and mystery. The Great Pyramid is the last surviving wonder of the ancient world. While all others have fallen to ruin, the Hanging Gardens, the Colossus, the Lighthouse of Alexandria, the Great Pyramid remains untouched by the centuries, a silent witness to lost civilizations and forgotten knowledge. But what makes it so extraordinary is not only its size. It is the perfection behind it. Every angle, every block, every corner was crafted with precision so exact that even modern technology struggles to explain it. Even today, engineers look upon it with awe, wondering how a civilization more than 4 millennia ago built something so massive, so flawless, without the aid of machines, electricity, or modern tools. The pyramid we see today was once even more magnificent. In ancient times, it was covered with smooth white limestone casing stones that shone brightly under the sun. From miles away, travelers described it as a beacon of light, glimmering like a star on earth. At its peak, a golden capstone may have reflected the first rays of sunrise and the last light of sunset. It was not just a structure, it was a symbol of divine connection between the earth and the heavens. But who ordered such a colossal creation? The answer lies in Egypt's Old Kingdom, around 2560 BCE, during the reign of Pharaoh Khufu, known to the Greeks as Cheops. Khufu ruled during Egypt's Golden Age, a time of peace, wealth, and unity. It was under his command that this monument, now known as the Great Pyramid, was conceived and constructed. For centuries, myths surrounded its creation. Many believed that the pyramids were built by slaves, forced to toil under the whip, suffering and dying for the glory of their king. But modern archaeology tells a different story, a story not of cruelty, but of devotion, organization, and national pride. Archaeologists have discovered entire workers' villages near the Giza Plateau, settlements filled with homes, bakeries, breweries, storage rooms, and even hospitals. They found evidence of a well-fed and well-treated labor force. The people who built the pyramid were not slaves from distant lands, but Egyptians, farmers, craftsmen, and specialists who worked together for a higher purpose. When the Nile flooded each year, farming became impossible for months. During this season, tens of thousands of workers gathered at Giza to contribute to the construction. For them, it was not forced labor, it was service to their gods and their pharaoh, whom they believed was divine. In building his eternal resting place, they were helping to ensure the harmony of the universe itself. The workforce is estimated to have been around 20,000 to 30,000 people at a time, organized with incredible precision. They were divided into crews, each responsible for specific tasks: quarrying stone, transporting it, and setting it into place. Each crew had its own name, often humorous or symbolic. Some of the graffiti found on the pyramid's blocks include phrases like, "the drunkards of Menkaure," or "the friends of Khufu." These names show pride and unity. They saw themselves as part of something far greater than any individual. Life for the workers was challenging but not miserable. They lived near the construction site in organized camps. They were provided with food, beer, and medical care. Excavations show evidence of healed injuries, proof that these people were treated with dignity, not discarded as slaves. Their families sometimes lived nearby, and when a worker died, he was buried in honor close to the pyramid he helped build. For them, this was not just a job. It was a sacred duty, the chance to take part in something eternal. The Great Pyramid is made of around 2.3 million blocks of limestone and granite. Some weigh as little as 2 tons. Others, especially in the King's Chamber, weigh up to 70 tons. The sheer scale of the project is staggering, but even more impressive is how they managed to organize it. Every block had to be quarried, shaped, transported, and placed in precise alignment. To achieve this without steel tools or modern cranes required unimaginable coordination. The stone for the pyramid's core came from local quarries near Giza, but the inner chambers used granite, which came from Aswan, nearly 800 kilometers to the south. These massive stones were floated down the Nile on wooden barges, then dragged across land to the construction site. To move them, the workers used wooden sleds pulled by teams of men. Modern experiments show that when sand is slightly wet, it reduces friction, making it easier to drag heavy stones, confirming the genius of the ancient engineers. It is believed the pyramid took about 20 years to complete, the lifetime of a single generation. Each day, thousands of men worked in rhythm, moving stone after stone, guided by master builders and priests who measured the stars to keep the structure perfectly aligned. The four sides of the pyramid face the cardinal points of north, south, east, and west with astonishing accuracy. Even today, the alignment is within a fraction of a degree of true north, something that could only be achieved through deep knowledge of astronomy and geometry. At the time of its completion, the Great Pyramid rose to a height of about 146.6 meters, or 481 feet, the tallest structure on Earth for almost 4,000 years. Not until the construction of medieval cathedrals and later modern skyscrapers did any building surpass it in height. Its base stretches over 13 acres, and each side measures about 230 meters in length. Despite its size, the difference between the longest and shortest sides is less than 20 centimeters, a level of precision that still amazes scientists today. But the pyramid was not built for power or pride alone. To the ancient Egyptians, it was a spiritual machine, a portal between worlds. Its design was meant to reflect the sacred order of the cosmos. The square base symbolized the earth, while the rising sides pointed toward the heavens, representing the pharaoh's journey to join the gods. The pyramid was both a tomb and a symbol of rebirth, a staircase of stone reaching toward eternity. Inside, a network of passageways leads to the king's chamber, where Khufu's sarcophagus once rested. Above the chamber, massive granite beams form a series of relieving chambers designed to distribute the weight of the pyramid, a feat of engineering so advanced that even modern architects study it with admiration. Every inch of the pyramid reflects purpose and precision. The angle of its sides, the positioning of its chambers, and the alignment of its shafts all appear to have cosmic significance. Some scholars believe the shafts point toward stars associated with the afterlife, allowing the pharaoh's spirit to ascend to the heavens. To the Egyptians, death was not the end, it was transformation, and the pyramid was the vessel that made that transformation possible. For the people who built it, the pyramid represented immortality. They may not have known that their creation would stand for thousands of years, but perhaps they hoped it would. In the rising and setting sun, they saw eternity, and in their stone masterpiece, they sought to capture it. Today, as the desert winds sweep across the plateau and the shadows of the pyramids stretch long over the sands, one cannot help but feel the weight of time. The hands that built these stones are long gone, their names forgotten, but their work endures, silent, perfect, and unyielding. The Great Pyramid of Giza is more than just an ancient structure. It is a mirror of human ambition, a monument to our endless desire to reach beyond ourselves. It tells us that even in the dawn of civilization, humanity was capable of greatness, of organization, intelligence, and faith so profound that it could shape stone into eternity. And as we stand before it today, we are reminded that the true mystery of the pyramid is not how it was built, but why. Why did an ancient civilization pour its heart, its knowledge, and its strength into creating a monument so perfect and so eternal? The answer, perhaps, lies not in the stones, but in the spirit of humanity itself. The same spirit that still drives us to explore, to create, and to seek meaning beyond the visible world. The Great Pyramid remains our greatest teacher, a silent reminder that nothing built with purpose, precision, and belief is ever truly lost to time. The builders of eternity. Beneath the blazing sun of ancient Egypt, the sound of hammers echoed across the Giza plateau. Dust rose with every strike, and the air shimmered with heat as thousands of men worked in perfect rhythm. Stone after stone, the Great Pyramid grew higher, closer to the heavens, guided by minds that understood the stars and hearts that believed in eternity. The story of the pyramid is not only about kings or gods, it is also about the builders, the men and women who turned vision into reality, who gave their lives to a dream so vast that it would outlive them all. For centuries, their names were lost, but their story is now being uncovered, piece by piece, from the sands that once buried it. Archaeologists have found an entire city near the pyramid, a city built for the workers themselves. This discovery changed everything we thought we knew. The settlement includes stone houses, storage rooms, bakeries, breweries, and even hospitals. It was not a place of slavery, but of community. It was a place where workers ate, rested, and lived with dignity. The men who worked here were strong, disciplined, and proud. They were organized into teams or crews, each consisting of several hundred men. Each crew was divided further into smaller groups, each with its own leader, its own tasks, and even its own team name. Graffiti found on the stones tells us those names: playful, bold, and full of pride. Some called themselves the Friends of Khufu. Others wrote the Drunkards of Menkor. These markings, scratched into stone thousands of years ago, tell us that these people were not slaves. They were workers who saw themselves as part of something grand, something divine. The project was an incredible display of organization. Each day, huge quantities of stone had to be quarried, shape transported, and placed in perfect alignment. Engineers calculated every detail, priests monitored progress according to the stars, and administrators kept records of rations and supplies. It was not chaos, it was order, precision, and purpose. Feeding such a massive workforce was one of the greatest challenges of all. But the ancient Egyptians met it with remarkable efficiency. Excavations reveal vast storehouses filled with grain, cattle bones, and pottery. The remains of daily meals served to thousands. It is estimated that the workers consumed more than 20 cattle and 30 sheep every day. Bread and beer were staples, not luxuries. Beer, in particular, was a vital part of the diet, providing hydration and energy under the desert sun. To keep morale high, the builders were given regular rest days and medical treatment. Skeletal remains show that many suffered broken bones. Yet those bones healed properly, proving they were cared for and allowed time to recover. This was not the treatment of slaves. This was the care of valued laborers, people whose work was essential to the kingdom's glory. The architects and planners of the pyramid were geniuses of their age. They had no digital instruments, no metal rulers, no electricity. Yet they achieved levels of accuracy that modern construction rarely matches. Using simple tools like sighting rods, plumb lines, and measuring ropes, they laid out a structure whose sides faced the cardinal points with near-perfect alignment. How they determined true north, so long before the invention of the compass, remains a marvel of ancient science. Many scholars believe they used the stars, especially a pair of bright stars in the northern sky, to mark the axis of the pyramid. Each night, the priests and engineers would observe the movement of the heavens, aligning the pyramid's base to match the eternal order above. In doing so, they connected the pharaoh's tomb with the cosmic realm, turning stone geometry into a reflection of the universe itself. The workforce functioned like a living organism. Every man had a role, every team had a purpose. Stonecutters shaped the massive limestone blocks at nearby quarries. Transporters dragged them across the desert using wooden sleds. At the construction site, teams of masons and laborers worked in harmony to place each block in its perfect position. Supervisors walked among them, shouting commands, ensuring the rhythm of work never stopped. At sunrise, the day began with offerings to the gods, a prayer for strength and protection. By midday, the air was thick with dust and sweat, yet the songs of the workers could still be heard echoing across the plateau. To them, this was not just work. It was worship. Each stone was placed not only with hands but with faith, the belief that they were building a house for eternity. The Great Pyramid rose slowly year after year. It took 2 decades of continuous labor, planning, and devotion. By the time it was complete, nearly 2.5 million blocks of stone had been moved and placed with astonishing precision. It was an achievement that required not only manpower, but also incredible knowledge of engineering, logistics, and mathematics. How did they move such massive stones without wheels or cranes? The answer lies in a combination of human strength, ingenuity, and natural science. Workers dragged the stones across sleds over sand that had been moistened with water. This simple trick reduced friction and made the heavy stones easier to pull. Recent discoveries of ancient logbooks, such as the Diary of Mirror, written by a supervisor during Khufu's reign, confirm that stones were also transported along the Nile using boats. These boats carried limestone from quarries and delivered it through canals to the construction site. It was an enormous system, an ancient supply chain, all designed to feed the growing pyramid. Imagine the sight. Long lines of men pulling sleds across the sand, the sound of wooden runners scraping the earth, commands shouted by overseers, and the rising sun turning the stones to gold. At night, torches illuminated the half-built monument, and the stars above mirrored the shape of what they were creating below. To the Egyptians, this was more than work. It was a sacred performance, repeated day after day, year after year. The pyramid became a national effort, a project that united farmers, artisans, priests, and soldiers under a single vision. It was Egypt's pride, its offering to the gods, and its promise to eternity. And while Pharaoh Khufu's name was carved into history as the ruler who ordered its construction, the true spirit of the pyramid belongs equally to those who built it, the anonymous hands that shaped the stones of immortality. When a worker died, his body was often buried near the pyramid he helped build. Simple tombs mark their resting places, filled with pottery, tools, and sometimes small offerings of bread and beer. These graves, discovered near the pyramid, tell us that the builders were honored, not forgotten. They were considered servants of the divine, men who had earned their place in the afterlife through their labor. Their legacy is carved into every block of stone. Every groove, every surface bears the mark of their dedication. 4,500 years later, the pyramid still stands, not only as a monument to Khufu, but as a monument to them. The Great Pyramid teaches us that greatness is never achieved by one person alone. It is born from unity, from people working together toward a dream that transcends their lifetime. The builders of Giza may not have known their names would fade from memory, but they built knowing their work would not. And in that, they achieved immortality. The desert winds still sweep across the plateau, whispering over the ruins of the workers' village. The walls have crumbled, the streets are silent, yet the spirit of those people remains. Every sunrise that touches the pyramid stones is a reminder of their hands, their sweat, their faith. The Great Pyramid stands not only as a tomb for a pharaoh but as a testament to humanity itself, to the strength, intelligence, and cooperation of ordinary people who did something extraordinary. They did not have machines. They did not have technology. What they had was purpose. And purpose, it seems, was enough to move mountains and build one too. Secrets hidden within. For centuries, explorers and scholars have been fascinated not just by the Great Pyramid's immense size, but by what lies inside it. The smooth outer casing may be long gone, but within the core of the pyramid rests a world of mystery. Narrow tunnels, hidden chambers, and silent corridors carved with purpose. When we step inside, the temperature drops sharply. The air becomes still, dry, and ancient. These passages, designed more than 4,500 years ago, were never meant for the living. They were pathways for the soul, a journey from this world to the next. The internal layout of the pyramid is unlike any structure ever built before it. 3 main chambers form its inner world. The subterranean chamber, deep beneath the bedrock. The queen's chamber, higher within the structure. And the king's chamber, near the heart. Each is connected by long, narrow shafts, some aligned with key stars in the sky. The king's chamber, made of solid granite, is perhaps the most breathtaking. The massive ceiling blocks, each weighing over 70 tons, are held together by a system of 5 relieving chambers above. A feat of engineering so advanced that even today, structural engineers marvel at its design. This was no accident. Every line, every angle, every space within the pyramid was deliberate part of a grand architectural code that mirrored cosmic order. Some researchers believe that the pyramid was not only a tomb, but also a spiritual machine. The shafts pointing to Orion and Sirius may have symbolized the pharaoh's path to immortality, a celestial ascent to the gods. In ancient Egyptian belief, the stars were eternal, unchanging, and to join them was to live forever. The question remains, was the Great Pyramid ever truly a tomb? No mummy, no treasure, no inscriptions naming Khufu have ever been found inside. Unlike later pyramids filled with hieroglyphs and offerings, the Great Pyramid stands in pure silence. To some, this silence speaks of reverence. To others, it suggests a deeper secret, that the pyramid may have served a different purpose altogether. In the 9th century, the Caliph al-Ma'mun is said to have broken into the pyramid, tunneling through its limestone walls in search of hidden gold. He found none, only hollow chambers and mysterious granite blocks guarding empty spaces. It was as if the builders wanted to hide something, or perhaps to protect something that had already been taken long before. In modern times, advanced technology has opened new possibilities. Using thermal scanning and cosmic ray imaging, scientists have detected strange voids within the pyramid, large, unexplained cavities that may be hidden chambers. One such void, discovered in 2017, lies above the Grand Gallery. Its size rivals that of the King's Chamber, but no one yet knows its purpose. Some suggest it was built to reduce weight on the chambers below. Others believe it may hold untold secrets, a sealed relic of ancient knowledge. Despite all our tools and technology, the Great Pyramid still guards its mysteries. Its builders left no blueprints, no written records, no clues to their methods. And yet, their creation has survived wars, earthquakes, and time itself. Even the dimensions of the pyramid contain remarkable mathematics. Its height and perimeter reflect the ratio of the Earth's circumference to its radius, a calculation supposedly impossible for ancient civilization. Coincidence, or evidence of a knowledge far greater than we imagine? Perhaps the pyramid was not just a monument to a king, but to the universe itself, a message written in stone. The deeper we look, the more we realize that the pyramid was built not just for the dead, but for the living, to remind future generations of what humanity is capable of. Every block tells a story of courage, unity, and vision. It is the combined effort of thousands, a people who believed they were serving something greater than themselves. Today, as the sun rises over Giza, it strikes the pyramid in the same way it did thousands of years ago. Light meets stone and time stands still. The Great Pyramid watches silently over the desert, its secrets safe, its message eternal. And perhaps that is the greatest mystery of all. Not how it was built, but why it was built. Was it faith, power, immortality, or a message to those yet to come, to us, that even in the dawn of civilization, humanity already knew how to reach for the stars? The pyramid: science, mystery, and the message of time. The story of the Great Pyramid of Giza did not end in the ancient world. In many ways, it is still unfolding. Even after more than 4 millennia, this monument continues to challenge our understanding of history, science, and human potential. For centuries, explorers came and went, some searching for treasure, others for truth. But in the last few decades, the study of the Great Pyramid has entered a new era. With lasers, drones, and cosmic ray scanners, scientists can now peer inside the ancient stone without touching a single block. And what they are finding is rewriting what we thought we knew. In 2017, a group of international researchers using muon radiography, a technique that detects subatomic particles from cosmic rays, discovered something unexpected: a vast, hidden void deep within the structure. It is large enough to fit a passenger plane and yet completely sealed, with no visible entrance. Its purpose remains unknown. Is it an empty space left to reduce pressure on the chambers below? Or could it be a hidden sanctuary, a secret chamber untouched since Khufu's time? The pyramid refuses to answer. It only reveals enough to remind us that there is always more to learn. Other studies have focused on the pyramid's energy properties, its perfect alignment with true north, its geometric precision, and the shape of its internal chambers have led some scientists and theorists to ask an astonishing question. Could the Great Pyramid have been more than just a tomb, perhaps an ancient power generator, or a device to harness Earth's natural energy fields. While mainstream archaeology rejects this idea, it remains a powerful part of popular imagination. Electromagnetic surveys have shown that the pyramid structure does, indeed, interact with certain frequencies of energy, though likely by coincidence. Still, the concept of the pyramid as a living structure, a vessel of vibration and resonance, continues to fascinate millions. Then there is the question of mathematics. Every proportion of the Great Pyramid seems to echo fundamental constants of nature. Its height compared to its base perimeter mirrors the ratio of a circle's circumference to its radius, the number pi. Its dimensions also encode the golden ratio, the same mathematical pattern found in seashells, galaxies, and the human body. How could builders over 4,000 years ago have known these numbers, long before they were officially discovered? Was it the result of divine intuition, careful observation, or the inheritance of a knowledge lost to time? Some scholars suggest that the pyramid was built as a reflection of the Earth itself, a geodetic model of our planet's proportions. Others believe it symbolized the union of heaven and earth, a cosmic map connecting the human world to the stars. And the stars have always been part of its story. The Great Pyramid's shafts point directly toward Orion's belt and Sirius, two constellations sacred to the Egyptians. To them, Orion represented Osiris, the god of resurrection, and Sirius represented Isis, the goddess of life and rebirth. Together, they symbolized the eternal cycle, death and return, darkness and light. In aligning the pyramid with these stars, the builders may have been creating more than a tomb. They were crafting a cosmic machine, one that joined heaven and earth in perfect harmony. Modern engineers continue to be amazed by the pyramid's structural genius. Even after thousands of years of earthquakes, floods, and erosion, the monument remains standing, balanced, symmetrical, and almost indestructible. Its foundations are so perfectly leveled that the difference between corners is less than a few centimeters, something nearly impossible without modern surveying equipment. Inside, the air shafts were designed to maintain stable temperature and airflow, a natural ventilation system that predates modern architecture by thousands of years. Even the arrangement of stones seems to protect the pyramid from vibration and heat, as though the builders understood the laws of physics intuitively. But perhaps the greatest mystery is the people behind it all. Who were these men and women who built the most precise structure on Earth? For years, it was believed that slaves dragged stones under the whips of overseers, a myth that modern archaeology has firmly disproven. In truth, they were skilled laborers, masons, and engineers, proud Egyptians who worked in organized teams, rotating every few months. Excavations near Giza have uncovered entire worker villages, complete with bakeries, workshops, and medical stations. These were not slaves, they were citizens serving a higher purpose. Their daily labor was more than work. It was worship. Each stone they placed was an offering to eternity, a contribution to the pharaoh's journey to the afterlife, and perhaps a gift to all humanity. Because what they created was not just for one man's glory. It was a statement that human beings, through unity and vision, can move mountains, quite literally. Today, the Great Pyramid continues to attract scientists, tourists, and dreamers alike. It has inspired generations, from mathematicians and architects to poets and philosophers. And even in our age of technology, it humbles us. We can build towers higher, but few structures on Earth carry such spiritual gravity. The pyramid endures because it is more than architecture. It is memory, it is meaning, it is mystery. It stands as a reminder that knowledge is never complete, and that the greatest achievements of humanity are born not just from tools and science, but from imagination and belief. Perhaps that is the true secret of the Great Pyramid, that long before modern civilization, long before we had machines, mankind already held the most powerful technology of all, the mind, the will, and the dream to touch eternity. And as the sun sets over Giza, casting golden light across its ancient face, the pyramid whispers to us through the sands of time that we are part of something vast, something eternal, something that began long before us and will endure long after we are gone. The Great Pyramid does not just belong to Egypt. It belongs to the earth. It belongs to every human who has ever looked up at the stars and wondered how far our reach can truly go. Legacy of eternity. The message of the Great Pyramid. For more than 45 centuries, the Great Pyramid of Giza has stood silently under the Egyptian sun, watching empires rise and fall, deserts shift, and civilizations forget their beginnings. It is the only one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world that still survives, untouched by time, by war, by chaos. It stands not just as a monument of stone, but as a message, one carved in geometry, in faith and in mystery. Every generation has looked upon the pyramid and asked the same questions. Who built it? Why was it made with such precision? And what truth does it hide within its perfect form? But perhaps the most powerful question is not how it was built, but why it continues to speak to us. The pyramid as a symbol of immortality. To the ancient Egyptians, the pyramid was more than architecture. It was a bridge between worlds. They believed life was only the beginning, a preparation for eternity. The pyramid was designed as a vessel, a stairway for the soul, carrying the pharaoh from the world of the living to the realm of the gods. The shape itself, wide at the base, rising to a single point, represented the path from earth to heaven. It symbolized ascension, the merging of humanity and divinity. To them, each layer of stone was a step toward the stars. But the symbolism runs deeper. The pyramid's 4 sides face the cardinal directions, north, south, east, and west, marking balance and order. Its apex points to the sky, uniting the heavens with the earth. It was geometry as spirituality, the idea that divine truth could be expressed through perfect design. When the pharaoh was placed within, his journey did not end. The pyramid became his resurrection chamber, aligning with the stars of Orion and Sirius, constellations linked with rebirth and eternal life. The light of the stars, filtered through narrow shafts, symbolically guided his spirit home. To us, it may sound poetic, but to the Egyptians, it was real. Every stone, every measurement, every alignment had meaning. The pyramid was both a physical and spiritual machine, built not only to last forever, but to ensure that the soul of the king and the soul of Egypt would never die. The pyramid across time. As centuries passed, Egypt's power faded, and sand began to bury the old kingdom's glory. New empires rose, Greek, Roman, Arab, each gazing upon the Great Pyramid with awe and confusion. To the Greeks, it was a place of wonder and wisdom. They believed the pyramid held the secrets of geometry and the universe. Teachings once known by the philosopher Thoth, or Hermes Trismegistus, the legendary sage said to bridge heaven and earth. In their eyes, the pyramid was not just Egyptian, it was universal knowledge made stone. When Arab scholars studied it centuries later, they saw it as a book written in stone, a message left by prophets before the Great Flood. Some believed the pyramids were built to preserve sacred knowledge, astronomy, mathematics, even the secrets of creation, before the world was washed clean. In the writings of early Islamic historians, the Great Pyramid was called the Treasury of Wisdom, a library sealed against the end of time. And even in modern times, the fascination never faded. Napoleon Bonaparte, upon entering the Great Pyramid in 1798, is said to have emerged pale and silent. When asked what he saw inside, he simply replied, "You would not believe me if I told you." Whatever he experienced, it changed him. It reminds us that the pyramid still has the power to humble even the greatest of men. The pyramid and the modern mind. In our age of science and technology, the Great Pyramid continues to confound the modern mind. We can measure it, scan it, and simulate it, yet we still cannot fully explain it. Its proportions mirror the movements of Earth, the path of the sun, and the geometry of time itself. Its builders seem to understand principles that modern architects still study today. Some believe the pyramid encodes the mathematics of the planet. The ratio of its height to its base reflects the curvature of the Earth. The number of its stones, the angle of its sides, and even its latitude on the globe seem to align with cosmic patterns. Coincidence or design? No one can say for sure. The deeper scientists look, the more mysteries they find. Cosmic ray scans reveal hidden cavities. Thermal imaging detects temperature differences suggesting unseen corridors. Acoustic studies show the chambers resonate at precise frequencies, as if tuned to the Earth's vibrations. Was it intentional? Or did the builders stumble upon a universal truth, the natural harmony between matter and energy, between sound and structure? To the ancients, sound was sacred. They believed that the universe itself was born from vibration, the voice of creation. If so, then perhaps the Great Pyramid was not just a tomb or monument, but a harmonic device, one that captured the rhythm of the earth, the heartbeat of the cosmos. The pyramid's message to humanity. Through all these theories, spiritual, scientific, and symbolic, one truth remains. The Great Pyramid speaks to something eternal within us. It reminds us of what humanity can achieve when united by purpose. The workers who built it had no machines, no electricity, no modern tools, only vision, faith, and determination. And yet they left behind something that not only defied their age, but continues to defy ours. In its silence, the pyramid teaches us that greatness is born not from power, but from purpose. That true immortality is not in gold or glory, but in creation that endures. The Great Pyramid has seen everything: the fall of dynasties, the birth of religions, the rise of science, and the dawn of space exploration. It has stood while languages changed, while beliefs evolved, while entire civilization came and went, and yet it remains untouched, unwavering, eternal. Even today, millions travel across the world to stand before it. Some come as tourists, others as seekers. Some see it as a symbol of Egypt, others as a symbol of humanity itself. But all who stand before it feel the same thing: a quiet sense of awe, a connection to something vast, something ancient, something beyond comprehension. The eternal flame. The Great Pyramid is not just an artifact of history. It is a mirror reflecting what humanity once was, and what it still can be. In its shadow, we are reminded that we, too, are builders not of stone, but of knowledge, of ideas, of future worlds. Its message is not one of mystery alone, but of potential. It whispers across the ages: remember what you are capable of. Remember that your mind, your hands, and your heart can shape eternity. And perhaps that is the secret the pyramid was meant to preserve. Not hidden treasure, not lost technology, but the truth that within every generation, there lies the same power that raised those stones toward the sky. When the last light of sunset touches the pyramid, and the desert wind falls still, it feels as if time itself pauses to listen. The Great Pyramid stands as both a question and an answer, a reminder that while all things may fade, the spirit that built it will never die. Because in the end, the Great Pyramid of Giza is not only the story of ancient Egypt. It is the story of humanity, of our endless curiosity, of our hunger for meaning, of our belief that somewhere between heaven and earth, we can build something that lasts forever. And so it stands, silent, immovable, eternal. The Great Pyramid of Giza, the stone heartbeat of civilization, still pulsing beneath the sands of time. The untold truth behind Egypt's greatest wonder.